Politics and more stuff. Try and keep this one a little short. um, where we stand right now. I already been over the AUKUS thing, so I won't AUKUS. So I won't talk about that. That video is uploading as I speak. It is 2:19 p.m. Thursday, September 16th. In the last 12 hours, the video has uploaded. I can't even check it without ruining the camera on the recording. I want to say probably about 15, maybe 20% of a 4 gigabyte file. So I'm going to record the content that I record today. I'm going to set it uploading. I'm going to get an extension cord and phone charger and set up shop out in the front yard. It is a very beautiful day out. And I'm going to listen to music while this thing sits at the maximal signal strength point in the yard and charges while it uploads, and hopefully get a good chunk done. And then when I'm done with my outdoor labors for the day, I will drive to town and get tobacco and hopefully spend enough time in town that the uploads will finish. The reality is it takes about 24 hours to upload a 4 gigabyte file out here with the typical signal strength. You can cut that down to about, 7 or 8 hours if I take it outside. But if I go into town at 5 bars with, towers everywhere, it takes like an hour and a half. All right, so aside from Nicki Minaj and AUKUS, we have Rand Paul talking to Anthony Blinken about. Well, let me divert slightly. This is gonna end up being longer than I thought. Let me divert slightly. I keep having these goofy little jokey funnies pop into my head, which is a good sign because it means that there's creativity present. Sense of humor's growing back, I guess you could say. But I'm not really in a position to construct anything meme-like in video or graphical format at this time. Which is unfortunate because that means I describe jokes, like physical gags, to an audience and hope that they get what I'm saying. I did describe yesterday's funny haha idea on a text message and actually got a good reaction. And actually somebody's going to attempt to Photoshop construct this idea. I had another idea-ish to do with the Secretary of State and his unfortunate name. So I'll start with that one, then I'll give you the one that I had yesterday. Then I will move on to some political commentary. Okay, so the Emancipation President, Abraham Lincoln. Abe Lincoln. And then you have Robin Hood Men in Tights. The whole scene with Achu saying something about Abe Lincoln. Did you say Abe Lincoln? And third, Secretary of State, first initial A, last name Blinken. A. Blinken. Womp womp. Okay, so then the real funny one, though, that I had yesterday kind of evolved a little bit. I've got a concept in my mind, and anyone who hears this or sees this, feel free, if you're able to construct, generate, or otherwise create what I'm talking about, do so. Share it. Spread like a benevolent virus. Because it is subversive as shit. Okay, so I was listening to / viewing news about General Milley. He's been talking to China behind the president's back for years. What he's done effectively sounds like treason and or sedition. There should be court-martial. There should be charges. There should be very real consequences in public. General Milley was speaking with the general in China. General's name is Li. L-I is how they're spelling it in the anglicized version. And I had a vision. The light descended. And in my mind, there was a vision. And in this vision, I saw a great chariot. It was a 1969 Dodge Charger that was like fire apple red. On the roof, the flag of China, red with the big yellow star and the 3 yellow stars around it. And written in text that would be black with yellow outline, I believe. General Li, L-I. And maybe on the side door of the car, big yellow star or whatever the Chinese pictogram for 1 would be. And then you can take that big old Confederate-y looking Dukes of Hazzard logo and you can cut off after this first Z in Hazard and then turn that into an N. And since the Dukes of Han. Now that's funny. That's a funny idea. So anybody who sees this and wants to construct something like that, by all means do so. Someone is going to attempt to, but usually when that happens, it seldom turns out like I thought about it. Ultimately, I may end up sketching a picture of this, inking it, coloring it, just to have what I was thinking about. We shall see. So, current politics. This thing with AOC and the Met Gala, it coincides with the Nicki Minaj thing because Nicki said that the Met Gala is not honestly an important enough event to just get a fucking medical procedure in order to be able to attend. A fact which got completely screwed up. But let's talk about something else. Everybody wants to talk about AOC's dress. Tax the rich. Aren't you rich? Yeah, I mean, totally obvious irony, unself-aware. She thought she was being edgy or whatever. Okay, great. What nobody's talking about, that I don't understand why we're not talking about it, is how absolutely fuckable her rear end looked in that dress. Holy hell. I mean, she's soulless, she's evil, she's a pawn, she's stupid, like all these things, right? But what a booty. It's kind of the same thing with Jen Psaki. You know, she is the mouthpiece of the tyrant at this point. And at the same time, is the soulless, and that's not a redhead joke. It has nothing whatsoever to do with her hair color. It has to do with her choice of career. It has to do with her choices in life, the things she does, who she's connected to, the activities she condones. Soulless. But a nicer set of tits I've never seen. Now, why am I saying this? Am I some kind of a male chauvinist pig? Not at all. Am I an asshole? That's debatable. What I'm getting at is subversion. I am listening to what these people are saying. I'm not taking them seriously because not only do I disagree, but I can see exactly why they're pushing what they're pushing. And a lot of other people can see it too, and more people are just about to. So instead I'm going to be like, I'm sorry, were you talking? I was staring at your sex to people who are trying to take over the world. No, I heard what you were saying. It's not that important to me. It's not a priority what you're trying to do, and I'm not helping you with it. I'm sorry, I was too busy looking at your tits. This is my sign of disrespect to the establishment, and nothing more. War stuff. Rand Paul, boy. Blaze TV had a clip. I'm not going to play it on here. Yes, I subscribe to the Blaze on YouTube. No, I do not pay for anyone's content. No, I do not pirate anyone's content. I do like to keep a more broad spectrum. Unfortunately, the left end of news is trash. I refuse to subject myself to constant brainwashing because some of it is like digital trickery, subliminal stuff. So it's not just to armor myself against what they're saying, it's that there are other things going on that I have to be extra vigilant to watch out for and catch. It is exhausting, and I'm not gaining extra information by doing so. Blaze posted a clip of Rand Paul talking to Blinken. It was a very civil conversation. There was no argument. It was not like talking to Fauci. It was quite cordial. There wasn't even any hatred behind him. And Rand Paul made some great points about this is not just you and this is not just this administration. This is the thing that's been going on. However, Blinken is in the circle of people that are kind of in favor of that shit. Drone strikes and stuff. So he asked the Secretary of State, was the guy that we hit with the drone bomb an aid worker or a terrorist? And the Secretary of State says, we're still looking into that. Dr. Senator Rand Paul quite rightly then asks, okay, shouldn't we have figured that out before we used a Predator drone to bomb him? The news reports coming in locally, if they're true and not just propaganda, I'm quoting Rand Paul here, would mean that like 16 children were killed. So you get this one dude that you have yet to figure out if it was the right guy or if he was what you might have thought he was. Now, yes, I know terrorists surround themselves with children often as well, but come on now. And then, further, the based excellence Dr. Senator Rand Paul says, how much money are we giving him? $10 million? How much stuff did we leave there? Secretary of State says, I don't know, like $80 million worth of stuff, most of which doesn't work. The rest of which is going to be not working very soon because there's no one to maintain it and no way to maintain it. It's all going to quit working very soon. Okay, but if we're giving the money based on this promise of good behavior, wouldn't it work better if we said, cool, we're going to take that $80 billion off that $10 billion, so now you just owe us $70 billion to the Taliban? And also, if you're going to Predator drone bomb strike something, why not bomb the $80 billion worth of stuff you left behind? That's my thing. And the next thing that Senator Paul said after that also rings very true for the same reason, but they should have just wiped out that Air Force base as not only a sign of permanence of the exit, which I suppose if they didn't do that, it's because they're expecting they're going to go back in and use it again, try and rebuild. But it's going to be like a Call of Duty kind of thing. You're going to have to send dudes in there, special forces, elite dudes, Delta Berets or whatever, right? And sweep and clear this military base before you can occupy it. Because you left like you did. They obviously got in. So the thing to do would be give about 10 minutes advance notice before wiping the base off the face of the earth from above. And as Dr. Senator, the exalted, based one, Rand Paul said, this guy who seems to be on the pulse of sanity says, wouldn't it have been a better show of strength to just wipe all that stuff out and be like, there you go, that's what we're capable of? Because as the senator says, this dude, I'm glad Kentucky has voted for Rand Paul. I'm glad Rand Paul is in the Senate. I'm glad he is there to be a voice of reason. We need people like him. He says, I think it's a mistake to even offer the money to the Taliban given the circumstance. Now, you want to offer them the $10 million in exchange for good behavior after a period of time, having also bombed the crap out of all of your stuff that you left behind, cool. But the reality is history is going to remember all of this for the colossal screw up of abandoning a base, leaving all your people behind, doing the whole thing backwards. People are going to remember this. And offering money to the Taliban in exchange for good behavior is just a terrible idea. So, let's see what else we got. Is there anything else going on in the world? What was there? There was the one mayor, may or may not have been in his rightful power to demand that based on certain content that was being used, that actually they were kind of overreacting, but they were just like, now's our chance, we got to get it. And when they jump on stuff, this is like the prosecutor. Okay, There was a mayor in a town that said to the school district, you have to stop, you have to resign or face charges. And what they're facing charges or resigning over is the use of a collegiate level creative writing textbook in a high school class. The creative writing textbook includes, at collegiate level, writing about sexual experiences or drinking a beer and describing it. I kind of feel like it's an overreaction, but at the same time, these teachers may have had other things that they've been teaching or whatever, but this could totally be a going off half-cocked, false start, jump the gun kind of thing, too. What I was getting at when I interrupted myself is basically that it's like with the Bill Cosby deal, where they rushed and they fudged to get him in jail for a political popularity thing at the time, and it turned out that whatever it was that he had done or something, however they did it, was not right, because like the judge involved, the DA, and like the state, I think the state attorney general or something, that the three of them were involved, had previously had run-on campaigns for office over the whole getting Bill, like they shanghaied him. Whatever it was that he had done, and there are affidavits and witnesses and some pretty convincing evidence on a few of them, sounds though like mostly, unless there are ones that don't know that it happened, that are out there that don't know they can speak up or have completely passed their statute of limitations as well, most of the women that he drugged and had sex with were consensual, from the sound of it. So so this mayor going after a school, it might not be quite the right tack. But at the same time, elsewhere, all over the place, parents are, thanks to the Zoom schools and being able to sit off camera and find out what their kids are learning about in secret, have finally realized that schools of the public kind are indoctrination centers. They have always, as long as any of us that are alive have been that way. That is just the truth of it. So they're not liking the crap their kids are being taught. They're seeing exactly what's being done to them, and what the plan for the future is already available online. If you want to look it up, you can find out what they're trying to do, because it's been done before. Even with new modern modal variations, it's still very, very easy to see what they're trying to do. And folks ain't having it, and I think that's cool. It ties in with the Nicki Minaj thing. A lot more parents that may not have been paying attention might hear this weirdo famous person say something and actually be influenced by it in a way that the people talking about important shit might not have influenced them, because, you know, some people are ignorant. We're definitely having a brink moment, right? Maricopa report. I guess the deadline for the subpoenas on the second round, the updated and more specific subpoenas, which have been once again ruled enforceable by a court, and the state attorney general is getting involved directly. He's watching the response. Is next week. After that, they either get the stuff or they don't. If they don't, then it's like, okay, we're going to have to assume that you're being dishonest on purpose. So either we're going to get authorization for a raid to get the things we need, or we are going to go ahead and just say, because you would not cooperate, we're going to assume that's your admission of guilt, because we've got proof. From the rumbles are that the proof is pretty strong. So, looks like California's recall election was ultra safe and clean and fair. It's possible that there are 60% of the population of California are morons. But the other thing is, if you watched any of the live televised news coverage of it, yes, there were times when the number would go up and then the number would drop. So either they're just showing a loop of numbers going up in percentages and they timed it incorrectly so that you accidentally saw the switchover, or because it was only the yes to recall votes that were being deleted, that 1.5 million votes just vanished, on top of the fact that there were people with their and by the way, yesterday's or whatever, yeah, was it yesterday that was, or the day before, whichever day it was, that was no, it was 2 days ago. That was the actual, what they call election day. This was the deadline to vote. There had been early voting before that. So it's not like, they didn't already have votes coming in. But because they had absentees, mail-ins, etc., because it is California, they're doing it the way they did it in November. They need an audit. I don't know if that's going to happen. I think what is going to happen is a ton of, say how 30% of California is going to move out. That's a lot of people. They're going to lose Congress seats. They're going to lose electoral votes. They are not going to possibly be able to refill the state's population with only illegal immigrants in order to retain that. Simply not possible. That's not a feasible alternative. Pennsylvania's state senate has now set a date to meet to prepare the subpoenas for their own county election board people that are being audited in their counties in their state. Looks like they are beginning to go at it Maricopa style, but having watched Maricopa, they are going to try and circumvent some of the resistance, nip it in the bud, as it were. We'll see how that goes. Georgia's moving along. There's a hearing for Georgia to, I believe it's the beginning of discovery. They're going to receive the physical ballots by decree of the court. For the segment that they digitally audited, that they found definite proof of irregularities in a major way. How they are able to go through this and confirm or deny and prove whether there are copied ballots or individual ballots that were scanned numerous times, both of which are bad. If they find both, it's even worse. This will determine whether the full county or full state gets a thing. State legislatures constitutionally do, in fact, have the power to decertify electoral votes. This may not have an effect on the presidency because the Supreme Court has probably already ruled at some point that once a person has been inaugurated, there ain't much you can do with the other alternatives, like 25th Amendment, impeachment, etc. It would be impeachment for high crimes and misdemeanors relating to, say, cheating to get in or whatever. Even if it was your party that did it and not you, and then that's their scapegoat for why they don't. See, it's planned out. It's not that they didn't just one day decide, hey, we're going to do this tomorrow, and then no. This is decades-long planning of how to do this. So initially, and they're still, for whatever's going on in Wisconsin, I'm not sure how real that is, but people up there are starting to get into the mood. Michigan as well, I think. But so here's the thing, right? Before, a couple days ago, the official mainstream propaganda trend, the thing that normies, idiots, and ignorant people just would hear and say, oh, I guess that must be true because they said it's true. Those people are influenced by people like Nicki Minaj. Prior to a couple days ago, those people were being told that the idea that a deep and forensic looking into of whether or not our civic duty and right to choose our representation, and thus the people whose judgeships and legislations and executive signings determine the laws that are supposed to determine our behavior in some respect. Whether that system is legit, previously they were being told that that was a far-right, white nationalist, racist notion. But guess what? Every fake vote nullifies a real vote, And in a sense, every fake vote nullifies every other real vote by a little bit. And then the more fake votes there are, the more those real votes get nullified more. So here's the thing though. If you look at the methods, and I'm running out of video soon, if you look at the methods that these organizations, that the machine uses to do this, most of the votes that get faked are made to look like they were people of color. So to talk about the racism of voter suppression of whatever, of the real reality, the actuality is that the real most victims in the biggest way are the people that are being white knighted by the crooks and used as the excuse. So you're hurting those, but no, they're hurting those people. And now it's going to become a cultural Overton window shift to where more and possibly enough people are going to be willing to question this and look at it and not be afraid or told that this is a racist only thing. No, it's not a racial thing anyway. Look at the people that are doing the crooks, the shenanigans, the I'm being careful with my words. Those people are the real racists. I assure you that. I promise you that. Those people are the real racists, and it's because the things they're doing to retain power directly harm people of color, minorities, and poor folk in general, more than the rich.